Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home red state update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Hey, welcome to Red State Update. My name's Jackie Brawls.
Snakes, gators, it's Dunlap. We're glad to be back with you. We took a small week off. Like you think, well, maybe after the election, we'll just take a week and we'll just sleep in. But some motherfuckers tried to overthrow the government. Now, I don't know if y'all heard about that, but we felt it was our duty to get on here and say, what the fuck?
Hey, I didn't have to say it that way, but yeah.
We got plenty of hot takes, like, what the fuck?
All
Jesus
right.
Christ.
Just enough.
I can't believe this is happening. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess I can believe it's happening now that I thought about it. But
of course,
at first...
Of course it happened.
Of course it happened. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jackie, are you up? It's 3 a.m. I wanted to talk to someone, hear the human voice.
I hear you.
Don't forget about the hundreds of thousands of people dead. Also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I ain't forgot any of it. I mean, yeah.
No, that's what I would say when I call you up in the middle of the night. Don't forget, Jackie, on top of it.
I don't need you to tell me to not forget something, but I guess, and we always say 9/11, never forget. Everybody says, you get up there, and of course you should. You hold that day as a day in infamy, and a lot of people died. So the same with this. Never forget how many people are dying. Hell, every damn day from this COVID mess. But I tell you one thing, evidently you can forget is what you mentioned happened. It's an insurrection on our capital. First time that happened in history. Seems like the further we get away from it, we're about a month. It's a month now from it. It seems like, people of a particular, political party want us to just not, you can remember it, yes, but don't remember it and, as bad as some of them videos you're looking at of it. And, try not to stress over it too much. We got to move on. We got to come together. We can't have people. We need unity. So best just leave that alone. Let's move on. Time to move on.
Remember it the right way.
Yes.
If you're going to remember it the right way. Just like, wasn't that a Johnny Gill song? Remember the insurrection the right way.
I don't remember hearing that one.
You got to remember things the right way. And then if you were, just remember that night, it was a bunch of people. It keeps changing the way they want you to remember it too. Like now I feel like it's just like, it's remember it the right way coming from Republicans means I just kind of barely remember it.
Well, if you were actually there and remember it like someone like an AOC, evidently, she is definitely not remembering it the right way, even though she was there.
Johnny Gill was rub you the right way.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Not remember the insurrection the right way. This Johnny Gill was running this country, man. Don't remember things. Things happen, and remember them in a way that helps us remain in power, but also gives us the edge when it comes to murdering our colleagues in the Senate. Because we want to keep the door open in case this happens again. That's why, he's a master strategist. What's his name now? Republican Kevin McCarthy. His master strategy is keeping Liz Cheney and Marjorie Taylor Greene in there. And we'll punish her some, but we'll make everybody happy. That way we'll keep the people building the gallows outside the Senate happy, and we'll also keep the oil companies happy. That way everybody wins.
Well, first of it all, he was weak. He just a pitiful, weak man. Look at him go down there to kiss Trump's rear end, come back here and Marjorie Taylor Greene, all this stuff. Like he needs to have a vote in private. He was mad. I think he did try to get old Liz Cheney to apologize, and good for her, I guess, for not doing it. But yeah, what a little bit of time changes everything, don't it? Yeah, we hardly remember it as a sedition, and Kevin McCarthy went from the worst, minority speaker to maybe one of the craftiest ever.
How did they punish Marjorie Taylor Greene again?
Well, the Republicans, I guess 11 of them did, but the majority of them didn't want to punish her. They thought, I guess, just her looking like an idiot on TV and everywhere, so that's enough punishment. Just like Trump causing an insurrection, they all say, well, history is going to remember him, and that's going to be bad enough, even though you say in history will remember him that way, but you trying to keep us from remembering anything, but still on and on. Now, she got taken off a board of, education, whatever, committee she was sitting on, and Democrats had to do that. A little bit of help from Republicans, a little bit of help. Liz Cheney, now they had a big old vote on her. Everybody's mad at her. Everybody, it was in trouble. Old Matt Gaetz going to Wyoming and telling them enough of this woman, had it here. But they had a vote for her. She'd come out pretty good, I think. But wait a minute, that vote was sacred vote. No way anybody knowing who voted which way or what. And Liz Cheney's sitting just fine. We're going to have a public vote on Miss Greene. And, of course, all Democrats, they wanted to make sure everybody saw what they're trying to do. It ain't ever about what they actually do or what it's done. It's like when the Democrats did all that because a woman, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't keep up with too much on this woman Greene. Once you say Jews and space lasers, I'm like, okay, racist and crazy. I heard enough. But when they voted to keep her on those committees, it wasn't because she deserved to be there. No, sir. It was because the Democrats had no right to take her off of there. When the Democrats come after Trump and they get in there, it starts tomorrow, I believe. We're going to see an impeachment trial, part 2. When they don't convict Trump, it won't be because, that it didn't, cause an insurrection, because everybody knows it did. He saw it on TV. It'll be because the Democrats didn't have no right to impeach him again, because he's already gone. He's already gone. What do you need to impeach him for?
They didn't want him. He ain't gonna come testify. They really want him to testify?
He wanted to testify. He does. He had a group of lawyers that I guess had a little bit of credibility to them. They didn't last long with him. They gone. So now you got some Fox TV news lawyers who I guess are smart enough to not let him do it. But he wants to go in there because he knows damn well he can go in there, bang on the table, scream whatever the hell he wants to. Crazy as hell. Doesn't matter because he knows he ain't going to get convicted. So I don't know why he don't go. They said we ain't going to fall for this trick or whatever it is, but hell no, he can go in there, do whatever the hell he wants to do. He can go in there, pull down his pants and to take a mess right there on the table and walk out, and Republicans will, have us forgetting that in a week or two when they don't convict him. I'm glad he's not going to go do that. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I want him to go do that. No, but
Well, he doesn't have Lou Dobbs to talk about him taking a mess anymore.
Is Lou Dobbs already down at Mar-a-Lago? It seemed like Trump could give him a job just to do that, sitting around, riding in the golf course, just to say all that stuff.
He looks like an organ salesman. Not human organs, but like, You went by a mall in the 70s. He looks like somebody who was done old then, trying to sell you an organ.
An organ?
Yeah, an organ salesman. That's what he looks like.
I didn't know he looked like that.
Trust me. We don't even need to debate this anymore. Lou Dobbs looks like an organ salesman.
All right,
Google
man.
organ salesman. I'll do it right now. Hell. Lou Dobbs, organ salesman.
Right.
Yeah, nothing comes up.
Yeah.
There's no good image. Just pictures of him. I wish I hadn't done this. I'll just look up organ salesman. Let's see what comes up here now. Not far off.
I'll take your word on that. I can't see it over there, so whatever it is, yeah. Yeah, Fox let old Lou Dobbs go out of nowhere, just all suddenly for no reason, I guess. Highest rated show on Fox News television decided they had enough of this. Had to let him go.
What was he on? He wasn't on Real Fox, though. He was on.
No, he was on Fox News. On the, regular news, not on the whatever one that.
I thought he was on the same one with Maria Bartiromo.
He's on that. It's a Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Lou Dobbs, who else?
I thought he was on Fox Business.
Is he on Fox? Is that not on regular Fox? Is that how many things is Fox?
It's too many.
Obviously, I can't keep up, but I don't want to watch any of them. It's too many. I don't need to look at one of them, let alone 4 or 5. Fox Business is a whole thing that's just Lou Dobbs.
Wait a minute. Fox Business, I think yes. No, I think Maria Bartiromo's on Fox Business. Lou Dobbs is on Fox Business. Who was Judge? What's her name? Judge Jeannie on Fox Business.
Perino.
Larry Kudlow. Perino. Larry
Pino. Yeah.
Perino Pino. Larry Kudlow is getting a show on Fox Business, so that shows you he's going to replace Lou Dobbs.
Now he does look like an organ salesman. I'll say right now.
Look like he sold his organs.
Yeah.
Lou Dobbs does look embalmed. Like, I don't like to play. We're coming into a new age, Jackie, where somebody could be the worst son of a gun ever roam the earth. And you get on Twitter and say, this hog head, and be like, why you got to make fun of his appearance? I'm like, well, he did all this to children. People like, I just now worse than no better off than him. I'm like, well, but he was doing like, you got to be nice. We're coming to an age where people want you to be not nice, but you don't have to veer off into people. I don't have to say Lou Dobbs looked embalmed. I don't have to say Lou Dobbs looked like he was in the funeral home and he come lurching out of the back room and trying to sell you an organ. We don't need to talk about people's looks. We need to talk about their actions. We need to tell them how they can be accountable, But Lou Dobbs does look like wax. He looks like a wax figure of the father of a Fox News correspondent. But Fox Business is a different channel that I guess if you get on, like they say, Maria Bartiromo that new hour on Fox they're opening up where it ain't news. Isn't that where Shepard Smith used to be?
Yeah.
What was that, a year ago now?
Yeah.
Now there's news. They kept that news here. Now they're just going to put some other propaganda spewing idiot in there.
Well, they ain't doing good on the ratings. They if you don't recall, the former president got mad at them every other week. He made them even more mad at them than he was CNN. Everybody knew CNN was, enemy of the people, but then Fox slowly turned that way. Yeah, he's been running them down. So yeah, all them other Fox ain't doing what they used to do. They ain't in the business they used to be. So they got to get that extra crazy up and going.
Maybe that's why they don't want to fire. Why they ain't firing Tucker or because they can't. They don't defend a lawsuit against if you're on the main Fox News, but they ain't gonna waste lawsuit money on Fox News business.
No.
That's why they're trying to get Bartiromo over there to the main ship. So 6 a.m. is Mornings with Maria. Then you got Neil Cavuto. No, you got Varney and Company. Some of this is actual business stuff, and then some is just Cavuto, Coast to Coast, Making Money with Charles Payne. After the Bell, the Clayman Countdown. Some of that's actual, like, I don't know, GameStop stuff, I reckon. Kennedy is on there. Remember Kennedy from MTV?
We met her years ago in California. We met her. Also, not to interrupt you, I do want to hear everything that's on Fox
That's
Business.
pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate you catching us up. But a little bit more of our history. Years ago, do you remember we was in Las Vegas? I guess it was a debate or one of them things we were covering. And what they call the spin room. Remember spin room where everybody's talking in front of this camera and that camera and everywhere? And there's Lou Dobbs over there by himself. Nobody wanted to talk to him. And now, I think we talked to him for a minute, but he was easy to get to. He was nobody wants to. I think we even said that. I think that was what we thought the joke was at the time. We said on camera somewhere, like, look, no, Lou Dobbs, nobody wants to talk to Lou Dobbs. And of course, we did. I don't remember the conversation, don't remember what we asked him. Probably trying to block that out, just like the GOP is trying to block out the sedition upon the Capitol. But I vaguely remember us, speaking to Lou Dobbs himself.
I don't remember talking to Lou Dobbs. It's a wonder I didn't walk out of there with a $5,000 organ.
Well, he's gone now, so. And Fox swears it ain't got nothing to do with having many $billion lawsuit they got coming to them from. It's what's the name of it? There's two. Digamon. And Smartest. Something. The voting machines.
Are they two different companies, or are they the same company?
Well, sometimes they say Digimon sued them, and then other times they say a different suit. They say Smarches or whatever it is sues them. So I don't know if they give us, if you are one thing, obviously you can sue under whatever name you want to. I don't know how it works. Man, how whoever, which one or both of them, they all suing the hell out of, Fox, Giuliani's. Well, I don't, are they working their way up to Trump? Because I don't understand if you want to sue who's really, sure, all these people helped him, but I believe the first people, who said that the election was rigged and these vote machines are cheaters and corrupt and all this louder than the damn president? Nobody. They was just repeating him. So I guess you start there and work your way up to him. Or they know he ain't got no damn money, they ain't going to get nothing out of him.
That might be it.
That could be it. What's a waste of time? We could own Fox News, I guess. We could own My Pillow. I don't know why anybody would want it, but so be it. That man's crazy. I never used no My Pillow either. I never had one. I don't know if it's a good product or not. So I have nothing against the product in and of itself, but whoever the man was, that man crazy as hell.
They make a 3-hour movie that he aired on one of those channels that is worse than Fox, but somehow will be here long after.
Well, he put it up place or some movie he made about the election, whatever. I bet he always got God and Jesus involved in all this stuff, I think. If this happened, then God wants or whatever, but he does a lot of that stuff. And he ain't going to stop saying smarches and bad Digimon. He ain't ever going to quit saying that. You can tell he ain't. He says it wherever he can. But they took down, like they do on the computer, they took down the president off of Twitters and all that stuff. So My Pillow movie went up on, which if he had called it that instead of whatever the hell it is, the steal election, if he just called it My Pillow movie, probably people wouldn't have, come at it in a different way. But they took it down a bunch of places. Yeah, and the only place it's left up is, one of them weird places. But I heard there, wherever it was, had over 1 million damn views already. If you got 3 hours to sit and watch a My Pillow movie by him, you need to question what's going on in your life. I know we all got a lot of time. I know we all quarantined, shut up, and, sure, you're looking for something to do, but good Lord.
I'm sure somebody made this joke on Twitter, but I'm going to go for it anyway. If I was in the pillow business, making 3-hour movies would be a way for me to drum up sales.
I see that, yeah.
Especially 3-hour movies about bullshit. You ever try to talk to somebody on Facebook that thinks Trump stole the election? Not people who are like, not my president, just who are concise and crazy, but the people who really try to convince you, I mean, hell, I don't know what My Pillows are like. I hope one never touches my head. But after I not on Facebook, go around with them. Yeah, please give me because it's it goes from frustrating to boring. Just get off Facebook. That should be Facebook's logo, from frustrating to boring.
Please leave.
Like they really sell you back your own memories. Like, hey, here's a memory from 10 years ago. Remember this? And like, oh, it's the birthday of that person you went to high school with. But the memories now are like, oh, right, yeah, 10 years ago I was friends with that person. Now they believe in QAnon. All right, yeah, I remember it's the birthday of that girl I went to high school with. She just did a bunch of racist stuff on Facebook. Like they can't, like they can't tell you your memories anymore because like, all right, I used to love that movie. Shit, that's sexist as hell. That's none of that's good. I can't like any of that stuff anymore. Shit.
Let alone just being reminded, 2 years ago I was allowed to go out to the ball game or wherever,
Good point. I look at you in a restaurant.
Yeah, that was good.
Not crying and drinking. Like, here's you at fucking O'Charlie's.
Hey.
Look, you got a damn sweet tea and a fucking fried chicken salad. It's like the best day of your fucking life. If you'd only known, I'd have made that salad last 3 damn hours. If only I don't. If only we'd known, Jackie.
If you're one of those people that gets on Facebook only to scream at the damn president, whether you're sharing this podcast, New York Times story, whatever the hell it is, when you go back, look at your memories, all it is, past 4 years. Oh, yeah, I remember when that SOB did that. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Are people who...
Another reason that I hate the former president.
Are people who got on Twitter and Facebook and had a nice morning of yelling at the president, are they a little disappointed he's not on Twitter? Because I know the consensus is, it's so much nicer now that he's not on Twitter. But I feel like there's a lot more fighting. Just at least everybody was mad before. And most people, a lot of people, about half the country for the right reasons. But now I just feel like nobody knows who to turn the primal force of their anger on. Like, at least when Trump was on there tweeting all this horrible stuff, which were like dog whistles and veiled death threats. I'm not saying he should be on Twitter anymore, but people got to get on there. They got to call him a SOB, a motherfucker, whatever they wanted to call him, get that out of the way, no matter what he did. It's like a morning constitutional. But now he's not on there to take people's anger. I feel like we're turning on ourselves. We're mad at Bruce Springsteen now. Like, maybe I don't know, maybe he deserves it. I'm just saying, like, when Trump was there, not that we don't need to be mad at Biden or where's my $2,000. None of that. All I'm saying is that when he was there, we knew who a main bad guy was. Maybe he wasn't your favorite bad guy. Maybe you thought, oh no, capitalism, whatever. Who gives a shit? But I'm just saying, Trump was there. He took a lot. He directed. I mean, I'm not saying I wish Trump was back on Twitter. I'm just wondering if it's changed the dynamics, if it's changed the flow on Twitter, the hate flow. It feels like the hate flow has changed a little bit. Because you had somebody really, really, really deserving of it. And there's plenty of people, Marjorie Taylor, all these people. I'm just saying, the hate flow has changed a little bit. And I hope we learn how to direct it in a way that benefits society the most.
Yeah, it seems like you need to do something. Something with it. It's there. You're right. There are a few other alternative choices, like you said. People you can cuss at if you need to on there, I'm sure. You got McConnell, McCarthy, we got Greene, you got all them, but and my personal favorite, Marco Rubio's still on there.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
I know people really love to get mad at the president, and they're missing that. I'd like to invite all of them, if you listen on here, please go to Marco Rubio's thing and cuss him a little bit. I guarantee you there's something there that'll make you want to cuss him. Besides the Bible verses, I don't mind that so much. A Bible verse, well, coming from him, actually, I do. I do mind that. I'm going to take that back. I don't think the Bible was written for him to be able to troll people on the computers. I don't think that's the purpose of it. But yeah, please go, go cuss Marco Rubio. No, feel free to do that. Especially between now and whenever this damn impeachment part 2 is going to be over with. He's going to give you plenty of reasons. Plenty of reasons. All of them are.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Everybody get on Twitter and cuss out Marco Rubio. If there's anything we can impart to you today.
And I don't encourage bad language. Please don't take this the wrong way, because I think that's wrong. I don't like to hear bad language. I don't like the sound of the word. You know which words, and let's not go through them, Dunlap. But when you write them out and I don't have to hear it, and I'm not going to go, I tell you right now, I ain't going to get on there and look at what people say to Marco Rubio. So whatever cussing you got in your heart, whatever words you want to use, as long as you don't say them out loud, please direct them to Marco Rubio. I don't even think Greene's worth anybody's time. Why would you? I don't know why. Sure, you can get on there and cuss her out, sure, if it makes you feel better, but I don't. See, the more people you make mad, she likes that. She likes the damn president in that way. That's her job, was to get voted, go to Congress, and make everybody mad. She knows what a job is. It was either Congress, Fox News, or, wherever. That's what she does. And like I said, I was fortunate enough to avoid a lot of that. Like I said, when I first heard racism and crazy, I stopped right there. But CNN is on in the corner. One of them was, I don't know, and they played some video of her just saying, I mean, the most vile racist stuff. I like, yeah, she's crazy, get rid of her. And then I heard that, and God, good, just awful. And it is a little depressing, I'm going to admit. It's a little depressing that the GOP, someone I have not, I've distanced myself from that party for some time now. Still consider myself an independent. But it's a little depressing when you come out, when they just all of them say collectively that this is okay, this is acceptable. We're going to do. I mean, let alone an angry mob of seditionists attacking the Capitol, trying to kill them. They're trying to kill. They're like saying this is acceptable. This is all right. That's just a little depressing for me. I'm sorry it is. I should know better to have any expectations from these people at this point. But the hell with all of them. McCarthy coming out there and trying. Yeah, she said she was sorry for Q. How do you say it? Q to not. I don't know what it is. He said. Of course, he's on tape saying Q on tons of other times. And hell, if it's true, you don't know who they are. I might look into it a little bit. I'd have looked into it the day after the 6th. Because evidently, whoever these Q people are, they want me dead. I wonder why they want me dead. Look it up. It don't make any sense why they want you dead, but go ahead and look it up. They mainly want you dead because the president's been lying to everybody past how many months that he won the damn election. Mainly that, but there's some other stuff in there too. I guess I don't want it to be acceptable. That's it. I come from Reagan years ago, and I ain't saying it was a perfect party. We had our problems and this and that, but I just don't find it acceptable, and that's why it bothers me. I should already understand that these people are so far gone. And I'm sure there's plenty of Republicans out there that don't follow the news quite like we do, or y'all listening do, or whoever does. It's just like, the GOP picked him to be well, it's better than Democrats. At least it ain't a crazy, sick Democrat. Well, it is worse. And here we are, Dunlap. Here we are. Did you expect to be here at impeachment number 2? Just where you saw your future?
I didn't think I'd make it through 2017, honestly.
Well, yeah, that's true. I thought I'd done been dead from something or other. This Jackie Bro's still on here, still talking. I hope y'all still listening.
Jackie,
what was that?
I like to open a beer on the microphone.
I couldn't tell what that was.
What do you mean?
I couldn't tell what it was.
It was a cool ass sounding beer opening.
It didn't. It sounded like a bunch of muffled to me. Maybe it don't sound right on your computer on your end. I don't know. I couldn't tell what it was.
No, it was a cool beer.
It sounded like you fell down or something, or you dropped something, or your microphone hit up against something or other. It didn't sound like no beer opening.
No, I'm cool. I'm a cool man drinking, opening up a beer. I'm having a beer. It's cool. It's cool to drink.
Well, yeah, I reckon it is.
Folks, people, snake. Oh, right. I can't say folks, people anymore because that sounds like Joe Biden. So I changed it to snakes and gators last week. And Jackie, our friend, Guy Lancaster.
Oh, yeah, him and his lovely wife. Yeah.
I do think his wife knows us pretty well by this point because she said something. I don't have it pulled up here. But there was a little shade. Plus, I don't like that we're just calling her Guy Lancaster's wife. I should write her name down. But I do think that she
may not want you to say
pretty well.
She may not want us to say her name on here first.
That's true. Well, we should come up with a name for her and use that. But Guy Lancaster said something like, it was basically like, my wife would like to hear you continue this story about the snakes and gators, but we sort of feel like you're not going to follow. Oh, yeah, here it is. Guy Lancaster. The wife says y'all better follow through, as if she knows that we often don't. With a further exploration of this whole snakes, gators pardon scandal, got a special place in her heart for all things herpetological, particularly snakes. Well, Mrs. Guy Lancaster, is that sexist, Stephen? And all the snakes and gators out there listening, before we get to our sponsors, let me just do a quick run through, Jackie. I told you a little bit about this.
I heard something she had, earlier,
of the snakes and gators scandal from President Trump's pardon list. So Robert Bowker, here's what I think I read last week or last time we did one of these, what do you call them? Podcasts. President Trump granted a full pardon to Robert Bowker. Mr. Bowker's pardon is supported by Anne Marie Powlin, Sheriff Butch Anderson, and the late Robert Trump. Nah, we'll come back to those names. Nearly 30 years ago, Mr. Bowker pled guilty to a violation of the Lacey Act. Oh man, I should have looked up the Lacey Act, which prohibits because that's a pretty name for Snake Act, which prohibits trafficking in wildlife when he arranged for 22 snakes owned by Rudy Cobra King Comerick to be transported to the Miami Serpentarium. Although Robert Bowker did not ask for any animals in return, he was offered 22 American alligators. Now, I don't know if that part is true. They could have just put that in there to make Robert Bowker seem like he deserved that pardon. I didn't even want no fucking alligators, man.
Hey.
After pleading guilty, Mr. Bowker was sentenced to probation. Never went to jail. Mr. Bowker has dedicated resources to animal conservation efforts in the intervening decades, including as a member of the Humane Society of the United States, World Wildlife Fund, and a Wildlife Conservation Society. Although I did see someone on Twitter say, well, you just give them like $5 and you're a member of the World Wildlife Fund. You get a sticker with a panda on it. Put on your boombox to impress college girls. I mean, there's no... So I don't know what the story on Robert Bowker is. And I regret to inform you that Robert Bowker is still the mystery at the heart of this larger mystery of Trump's pardon list, Snakes for Gators. I did find a few things I'd like to talk about. I would like to talk about the Serpentarium, Jackie. I'd like to talk about Rudy Cobra King Comerick. I'd like to talk a little bit about Robert Bowker, who I could not find very much on. I'd like to talk about the late Robert Trump and his wife, Anne Marie Powlin, and Sheriff Butch Anderson, who apparently are the ones who brought this to President Donald J. Trump's attention. And then we're going to get to our sponsors. And then I might continue the evening lineup of Fox Business. So here is an article, Jackie, from 1993, June the 2nd. And this is what was in the papers. Law enforcement agents put bite on snake poacher. They call him the Cobra King. So even here, Bowker, who got the pardon, is not the guy at the center of all this. Because the Cobra King... If you have an animal in your name and the second part of your name is King, you're always going to get the press. This dude is dead, by the way. Cobra King, Rudy Comerick, worked what's known as a snake act at carnivals in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I did not think of those as snake states, honestly, but they are. He'd exhibit Egyptian cobras, thrilling audiences with what seemed to be hypnotic powers over the deadly reptiles. This is from Don Ecker's Outdoors column in the North Jersey, the Hackensack Record. Oh, right, because it goes with horse racing. So there's the top of the paper says North Jersey Sports / horse racing. That's the section we're in because it's New Jersey. Comerick priced his rattlers at a relatively low $20 to $30 each. Now, nowadays, you can't get a rattlesnake for under $50. It's like you go to McDonald's, you're like, how'd I spend $10 fucking at McDonald's?
All right.
Same damn thing. Rudy Comerick was a household name to federal wildlife law enforcement. He was slick. He knew much better than the federal or state agents where the snake dens were located. Never seen in the act of poaching by anyone. He always had, he sounds cool, right? They always sound cool at first. The slick snake carney. He always had other people ship the reptiles for him. so it was difficult to tag him with anything concrete. That's pretty smart. Listen, you got to be a smart man to steal rattlesnakes from the wild and ship them to Florida, and then on top of it, trick somebody else into going to the post office for you. If you feel it's moving, don't get out of line. Comeric has attracted attention from state and federal law enforcement for about 30 years. In 1979, he was convicted on a felony count of smuggling endangered and threatened reptiles. He was arrested again in 1987 for attempted murder. Yes, that's Rudy Comeric in 1987 was arrested in a murder case. Snakes were a weapon in alleged murder trial from the UPI in 1987. In Hackensack, New Jersey, a snake handler who calls himself the Cobra King, and another man, Frank Giovannielli. Like, it could have just stopped at Giovanni. Frank Giovannielli. Like, that's too much to me. Like, if you were like Giovannielli, like, is that, like, you should...
It's too much in your mouth. I say that much, yeah.
It's too, if you should do the thing where you turn around in front of the mirror and the first thing that catches your eye, take it off your name. Whew. Only Italians. I'm only making fun of like Europeans, the Swedish, Italians, probably not Spanish,
just
French, maybe.
All the white ones, yes.
Most white ones for now. Slowly we'll weed some of them out. I wouldn't tweet any of this. Bergen County prosecutor Larry McClure said that in October, the two men placed 3 young timber rattlesnakes in the apartment of Robin Goldman, who lived below Giovannielli. McClure said Giovannielli was apparently retaliating for harassment complaints Goldman had filed. This woman lived underneath this dude, and he was stomping all around, and she was like, "Oh, he's making loud noises." So she complained. That's why it's better to, live out in the country. Like, if you're out in the country and a rattlesnake gets in, you're like, "Oh, accidents happen." This woman found 3 rattlesnakes in a row. On October 7th, she come home from work, found one of the snakes in front of the door to her apartment. She screamed, and a neighbor killed the snake with a cane. So she had a neighbor with the cane come running, killed a rattlesnake. Goldman found the second snake 2 days later after she noticed her cat was acting strangely, had a swole-up face. Another neighbor killed the second snake with a baseball bat, and the cat survived.
Well, good.
And these neighbors, it is New Jersey. Oh, hey, hold up, I'm coming.
Well,
the next day, Goldman...
These snakes didn't survive, and they had no business being there. I won't say that, too.
It's true. The snakes didn't do nothing except bite a cat. The next day, Goldman found the third snake behind a sofa and called the Washington police. She was very fortunate she was not bit. If all 3 snakes, McClure said, if all 3 snakes that were in the apartment, she could have received multiple bites. That's right. If they had teamed up, she's lucky these snakes couldn't stand each other. One bite might not do it, but if she was bitten a number of times, she might have died from it. Would one bite, wait, who is this? Bergen County prosecutor Larry McClure. Listen, Larry, I'm sure you're a great prosecutor. You're in New Jersey. I'm sure there's plenty of people to prosecute. I don't know. I don't know how many times you need to get bit by a rattlesnake, honestly, to do it. I'm going to say one bite might do it. It's just, I don't know. One bite, she could have been okay. I don't know. 3 or 4. Yeah, she's done. She's done. A snake expert at the Bronx Zoo. Oh, yeah, here we go. A snake expert at the Bronx Zoo in New York said that a single bite from a juvenile timber rattler probably would not kill a healthy person, McClure said. But multiple strikes could prove fatal. Again, I'm going to say, Bronx Zoo, I don't think they know what they're talking about. especially if the victim was bitten in the neck or suffered from heart problems. Look, that's a lot going on there. If you get bit by a rattlesnake, you're fucked. Write your will out in the dust.
Hey.
You're done. McClure said he could not reveal what information led to the arrest, but a lawyer for Giovanelli said Comerick had given a statement to police. So basically, Comerick was an experienced snake handler and had at one time used cobras in performances. I looked for footage of him doing his snake show. I'm sure it's out there. His website, CobraKing.com, I believe, is no longer active, but his MySpace is still up. These snakes, timber rattlers, are indigenous to this area, and he trapped them himself. So this Rudy Comerick, who died in 2008, March 2008. So he did he even get to see Obama sworn in? Rudy Comerick, 79, died in early March. This is from Jackie. This article about Rudy Comerick, the Cobra King, is from Animal People. AnimalPeopleForum.org. Animal People, news for people who care about animals. That's me.
Me too. Put me on there. Yeah.
Yeah, both of us. Well, here's the news in Animal Lover. Rudy Comerick, 79, died in early March of a heart attack in Florida. Animal People was informed by upstate New York herpetologists Randy Steckert and William S. Brown. Apart from several well-known bounty hunters who took thousands of timber rattlesnakes at taxpayers' expense in 3 northeastern New York counties and 1 western Vermont county, no single individual had more of a detrimental impact on northeastern populations of this species as great as that of Comerick. Listen, these herpetologists hate the Cobra King.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Brown, I believe, is the snake scientist who made up wanted posters for Rudy Comerick because rattlesnakes are supposed to be endangered. So he'd go around taking the rattlesnakes, and just taking one out, according to snake scientists, means that they can't have a lot of snake babies.
I'm going to say right now, somebody better jump on a TV show called Snake Scientist because people are going to watch it. I would.
So I'd watch it too.
Snake Scientist.
What would they investigate snakes, or would they?
Yeah,
just talk to you about snakes.
Listen to this whole story we're hearing now. Snake Scientist has to talk about that. You know, well, if there's going to be CSI, Snake Scientist.
Listen, Jackie, I got a snake. When we get to the Serpentarium, there's another snake scientist coming up.
All right.
Who injected himself with venom. Listen, let me just, one more thing about Rudy Comerick. Before he died, he gave a interview to Asa Fitch, which sounds like we made that up, honestly. Didn't he own a store off a square?
At one time or another, yeah.
Fitch's Finches? It's a little Connecticut registered citizen, Rudy Comerick, the Cobra King. He had a feud going on. His webpage was still up and running when this happened. 200 timber rattlesnakes for sale for $100 each. And he also advertised $40 maps to the snake dens. He started doing them maps just to piss off that snake scientist Brown because they had a feud. I don't know. Is it a feud if you just go around like stealing rattlesnakes from protected dens? And one scientist really got mad. But he got so mad that like other snake scientists kind of made fun of him for always being mad at the Cobra King. According to the Department of Environmental Protection, wildlife biologist Julie Victoria, no last name, I suppose, Comerick's website and maps have been a nuisance for years. They've led rattlesnake poachers to seek out the snakes, mostly to keep as pets. Who? And many property owners in the northwest corner have been forced to put up no trespassing signs to keep out poachers, snake poachers. So he was like the king. He was really more like the snake poacher king instead of the Cobra King. He also had on his website, which unfortunately, again, no longer still up. He had along with the snake-related advertisements, pictures, and information, are a bunch of tracks about UFO sightings. That tracks government cover-ups. Hell, he'd been at the damn Capitol, and a personal ad looking for. This is how the personal ad reads: looking for a young, slender female who enjoys travel, adventure, hiking, and mountains. Must be unattached. I don't even. Like, I would have added at that point. Like, if I were the Cobra King, I'd been like, must be unattached, but we'll work it out. Long-term commitment for a right person. He's really putting himself on the line there. It's hard. This is what doesn't say. His name was the Cobra King, and he had ads up for selling snakes, but they keep saying it's hard for the authorities to prove Comeric is selling illegal snakes on his website because the snakes aren't endangered in all states, according to a New York Department of Environmental Conservation official. It's impossible to differentiate between an endangered and a non-endangered snake. That doesn't make sense. Like, if you steal an endangered snake from, I guess they just say, and I got it where they're doing all right. And then I send it to the Serpentarium. The problem is I don't have any evidence on him, Julie Victoria said. We have to catch him red-handed. Like, he seemed to be outsmarting a lot of people, but they seem to be easy to outsmart. And he got arrested a bunch of times. Like, he did get arrested several times. He was the one he went to jail, and Bowker, the guy that Trump pardoned, did not go to jail. Let me just real quick. Comeric said he was going to make a TV movie next spring about his adventures with rattlesnakes. This did not happen. We're coming out to take a video. We'll have a young 19-year-old girl jumping around the rocks, and that's going to be in the video, and stuff about snakes. We're in competition with Steve Irwin, so this is when, the Aussie reptile wrangler who is host of TV's The Crocodile Hunter. According to Victoria, judges just aren't eager to prosecute the case to the full extent of the law. Wildlife enforcement, the problem is when you bring it into court with a judge who deals with murder and things like that, it takes on less importance. Some judges are not as sympathetic towards animal life as they are towards human life. That's depressing. So this guy was basically just a snake-stealing idiot. He nearly killed a lady. He sounds like he was constantly trying to kidnap people. Like, these personal ads really are just traps. They're just there's just not always a big difference between a personal ad and a trap, but I think you can see that these are traps. And so that is Rudy Comeric, the Cobra King. But Comeric sent the snakes to the Serpentarium. The Serpentarium was this thing in Miami, in southern Florida, and there was a guy there whose name was Bill Haast. I don't know how you say it. Haast. And he ran the Serpentarium in Punta Gorda. That's where they shipped the snakes, the guy that Trump pardoned. And he said he lived to be 100. He died in 2011 at the age of 100. He was long-lived, possibly because he continued to inject himself with snake venom. But Haas' widow says it's fascinating that this pardon would happen so many years later. She's looking to sell the Serpentarium in Punta Gorda, by the way, Jackie, and open a snake museum somewhere to celebrate her husband's legacy. Generations of Miami residents recall the old compound with its majestic 50-foot, 35-foot cobra statue. I gave it a few extra feet. And real entertaining slithering specimens for paying guests and tourists. This guy, Bill Haas, dead at 100, he gave an interview and he said things like, I've been bit more than 170 times and maybe almost died 20 or 25 times. I don't count the little bites. he said, occasionally my wife will give me a shot of snake venom, just a little bit. It burns when it goes in. I think without fail, it'll help me make 100 easy. And he did. He died the year he turned 100.
Maybe
so he
maybe,
just,
maybe that New Jersey prosecutor had read about this man, and that's why he said only it would take a few bites to get her.
That's true. Maybe he said, but he was building up his immunity. There was a boy at the Serpentarium. There was a little kid who fell into the boy that fell in the pit. That was rough. It happened in 1977. He was 6. I remember I was in the lab doing something, and one of the employees comes running in and said, a person fell in the crocodile pit. I remember running. I jumped over the wall, and on the crocodile's head, he was partially submerged. I was expecting him to let go, but he didn't. He backed up in the water and took the child with him. He shot the crocodile later, and he was up. I was up all night. What should I do? What should I do? I debated with myself. The crocodile did only what he knew to do. What should I do? I shot him, and I buried him in the pit next to a monument. That was a time I considered closing the Serpentarium. So little crocodile got a little boy.
What?
It's
awful. This is the worst. Is this legal?
I didn't say to laugh at the part where the kid gets eaten.
Laugh. I'm not laughing. Is it legal just to inject yourself with snake venom and have children in close capacity to alligator pits? What is? She wants to sell this place.
This is a place where the crocodile pit was. That was the old place. They closed that in the 80s. Then he opened up a new one over at Punta Gorda, and he didn't have like crocodiles running around. They said attendance was going down anyway. Like Easter Sundays, they just wasn't pulling like they used to. 4 years ago, I got bit by a Malaysian pit viper, and that was the end of my right index finger. The bone just dissolved. Most of my fingers were pretty bad anyway from all the bites, but when that finger went, that was the end. I can't trust my hands anymore. I try to hold snakes after that, but I can't. Died at 100, though. He made it to 100. He said he was going to, and he did it. Closed the Serpentarium in 1984, moved to Utah for a few years. In 1990, he moved to Punta Gorda, Florida, with his snakes. I'll send for you. Where he established the Miami Serpentarium Laboratories. Haas's hand suffered venom-caused tissue damage, culminating in the loss of a finger following a bite from a Malaysian pit viper. As a result of the damage, he gave up handling the venomous snakes. We said, aging is hard. Sometimes you feel useless, but I always felt I would live this long. It was intuitive. I always told people I'd live past 100, and I feel I will. Is it the venom? I don't know. He did live to 100. They tried to donate the giant cobra statue. There's an article in a Miami newspaper to the South Miami high school, the Cobras, and they had a big thing. The cheerleaders come out, and they were doing everybody watch the statue get moved, and the head fell off and just crumbled to the ground. Those kids didn't get their statue. Those kids didn't get their statue. So, okay, just to recap, Robert Bowker in the 90s apparently got tricked by the Cobra King into mailing some snakes to Bill Haas at the Serpentarium. Venom guy, finger man, Bill Haas at the Serpentarium. I don't know what the gators was about, who was supposed to provide the gators. There's not like a ton of information on the Bowker part. Like here in this article from the North New Jersey Sports Horse Racing paper, Comerica Robert Bowker, a Westchester County, New York resident and exotic snake collector, took a guilty plea to one felony count of violation of the Lacey Act for selling and transporting snakes. Comerica sold snakes to Bowker in New York, and Bowker shipped them to Miami. Bowker was fined $2,500 and ordered to serve 3 years probation and perform community service. Comerica was sentenced to 4 months in federal prison. I don't know. I don't know what the deal with Bowker is. Why did he Why did he do it? How did Trump get a hold of his pardon? Like, why did Trump? Well, because I don't know why, but I'm just assuming that all these people lived in near Westchester County, New York, and the sheriff there, his name is Butch Anderson, sheriffbutch.com, where you can listen to Pauling Public Radio article, Big Man with a Big Heart, Sheriff Butch Anderson. Like, what is the public radio like in Westchester County? Butch Anderson is known by almost everyone in Pauling, but for those readers who are not familiar with this larger-than-life personality, he seems to personify the very essence of goodwill and compassion, with a great, big, positive attitude thrown in for good measure. This is the sheriff. Did he just interview himself? Is there a Pauling public radio? Is this like when Trump called gossip columnists and pretended to be his publicist? So basically, you remember Trump's brother, Jackie?
One that died.
The one that died, and everybody thinks he died of COVID.
Yeah, because they wouldn't say. Yeah.
They wouldn't say. That was Robert Trump. A lot of people say he was the nice Trump. He lived up in Westchester County. Now, when you say the nice Trump, that literally means nothing. Like, what does that mean? That means like the wet dry. Like there's no. He literally filed a lawsuit against Mary Trump, his niece.
Well, she's a nice one, isn't she? She's a nice one.
She was supposed to be the nice one. Yeah, I would say that she was.
Well, let's just say the
nicest.
nice one. Yeah.
The nicest Trump. So he lived up there. He probably got COVID. Trump had his funeral in the White House. We don't know for sure he got COVID. That comedian on Twitter who worked on The Apprentice, who says that Trump's addicted to Adderall, says that all the Trumps are alcoholics and he died of alcoholism, and that's why they wouldn't say. I don't know if I always 100% believe that guy. But I guess sometimes I just like to spread rumors for no reason. I'm going to say if there was a death cover-up, go with COVID. If a Trump died, and it was probably for COVID. It's probably because of COVID. And he and his wife and Sheriff Butch somehow got together and wanted to pardon the damn Bowker. And I don't know why. All I can assume is that maybe he give money to that sheriff. Bowker give money to the sheriff, and the sheriff is friends with Trump. The sheriff is serving as a New York state chair of Trump's reelection committee. So for some reason, Bowker and these dudes are friends, and that reason is probably money. And at like Trump's golf courses, and Robert Trump's wife, who he married, Robert Trump's longtime wife, who he divorced like 10 years ago, was Blaine Trump, famous socialite in New York. And I guess he was having an affair with this woman, several decades younger than him. They got married this year, right before he died. Not like a few months. Look, I don't know when they got married, but like last year was crazy. I'm not insinuating anything by saying like, oh, and then he died, and she had that big staircase built where anyone could slip and fall. I just think that last year was, I'm sure a lot of people got married and somebody died. So Jesus, I mean, her family owns the oldest Italian restaurant in Brooklyn. Maybe I remember we also used to think Melania was nice. Maybe I'm going too easy on anybody. So the only thing I could find about Bowker, the guy who actually got pardoned, who never went to jail, who got tricked by the Cobra King probably into shipping snakes to the fingerless snake scientist at the Serpentarium, and who got pardoned by probably given, I don't want to get sued. Like Lou Dobbs. I don't want to get kicked off his podcast. And then next thing you know, you're doing it with, Judge Jeannie. What's her name?
Perot.
But I did find an article from 1963, Wild Animals as Pets. Yes. And Bobby Bowker was a snake kid in 1963 in Westchester, New York, probably hanging out with Sally Draper, for all I know, scaring her with them little snakes. Bobby Bowker, who knows more about snakes than most boys do about ball players. Like, if you want to mark a kid to get shoved into a locker or to get tricked by the Cobra King, print something like that. Plans a career in herpetology. This is the most I've ever said herpetology. And I've had herpes. At different times, he and his father have had 4 monkeys, a squirrel monkey, I know we got to get to the sponsors, 2 rhesus, and a woolly. Is that the name of a monkey? A skunk, ducks, chickens. Curiously, the fowl, being noisy, were the only pets to which the neighbors objected. The Balkan's biggest. So anyway, they talk about the monkeys, and then later they get into snakes. And Bobby's sister says, if you like snakes, this group from 5 to 8 feet long is fascinating. He had boa constrictors in 1963, which is, I mean, it's not great now. It's not great if you're Alice Cooper, but like in 1963, I don't know what you were trying to say. If you like snakes, this group from 5 to 8 feet long is fascinating. Sandra, Bobby's 20-year-old sister, says her boyfriends would rather look at them than at her. So if anybody else can find anything out about Robert Bowker, and that's all I got. I got a few more things on Robert Bowker, 43. This is from 1993 when he was arrested. Faces up to 5 years in prison. Bill Haas of the Serpentarium in East Punta Gorda. It's also the most times I've said Punta Gorda. Said he knows very little about the investigation. We just ordered some snakes and got them. We order snakes from all over the country and some foreign companies. I inject the venom into it. We put them online and produce venom. That's weird. Adding he has more than 600 poisonous snakes producing venom for research and the production of anti-venom. Oh, that's nice. Court records indicated Bowker hadn't been arrested, but he would be arrested, and I would spend 30 minutes talking about it on a podcast in the year 2013. What year is it?
20-something.
20-something. He really, so they just expunged his record. I mean, he didn't have to, he paid $2,500, 3 years probation, and probably was harassed by the Cobra King for the rest of his life. But like, I really couldn't find, usually you can find something about somebody. If somebody could get a pardon from Trump, like he would turn up a little bit in my very basic Googling and newspapers.com account. Rudy Comerick appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That's the Cobra King. I'd love to see that, if that's real. I mean, like a lot of people before VCR said, yeah, I was on Johnny Carson. It would make sense if the Snake Man was on Johnny Carson, but we don't know that for sure. He did try to murder a lady. So that's the sponsors, Jackie. That's Snakes and Gators. I hope.
Serpentarium.
Mrs. Guy. Serpentarium.
I tell you what, though, I do want to know what a woolly monkey is.
I do too.
I would. I watch enough Animal Planet, or I know pretty well my monkeys. I don't know no woolly monkey.
Oh, I just looked it up. Yeah, it's a thing. Woolly.
All right.
Woolly monkeys. 4 species of woolly monkeys. Oh, you'd like these, Jackie.
All right. I got
from the forests of South America.
Well, I know what I'm doing this evening. As soon as I get finished with my sponsors.
They look kind of like a woolly worm.
Oh. I wish I could see it with you.
Looks like, oh, yeah, I wish you could too. Well, one day this goddamn pandemic will be over.
All right, don't say the language, but yeah, it'll be over. Well, at least we'd be stuck in here another year, something like that, I guess. Hope all y'all listening is safe from that. Hope you and yours are doing okay. It's bad out there. What they got, the variant and the strain, right?
They got the variant. They got the strain. They want you to double mask.
Double it up.
A song. You want here's this song, Jackie. Remember? Right. I'm double masking without you even asking. Come on. Ain't nothing getting in or coming out. You know it?
Good. Yeah.
Fauci said he reckoned one was better with a second one, so I got two to cover my nose and mouth.
That's a good one. That's good. There's going to be a whole bunch of movies, songs covering this time of year. I'll be dead and gone for anybody, really listening to it. But yeah, it affects the culture. It does. Everybody talk about wearing a mask, getting sick, on and on.
It's a mental health crisis.
Yeah.
Biden said get them kids back in school.
I'd get them in there safely. I worry about the kids, worry about the teachers. Hope for the best for all of it. Yeah. Again, hope all y'all out there doing okay in the midst of all this. We trying to get by. Every day I take a breath in and able to breathe it out. I figure I'm doing all, if I'm sitting upright, it's a good day. Do I wish things are a little different in the world? Hell yeah, I do, but can't complain.
You get out there and try to change things.
I get.
What are you doing to change things? Are you doing enough to change things?
Talking on here fuse about all I can muster up at my age. I don't know what else. What else can I do? I go out there, I'm liable to get sick. I ain't worth nothing.
Call people on the phone.
Well, I do that every now and then, yeah. Check on
friends. Y'all doing right? Y'all doing the right thing?
That's a good thing. Check on your friends. Either I talk to you once a week on here, maybe a couple other people. If you ain't heard from your friend for a while, check in on them. Say, I hope you're doing okay. Doesn't hurt nobody to do that. I try to do it every now and then. Well, this was supposed to be the sponsor section, but I guess it's the snake section, which I don't know. Is this going to be a regular feature on here, snakes?
I just started Googling it when we were doing it last time, and I was like, I probably shouldn't Google.
There's a lot of information. There's a lot to take in right there, but pretty much it boils down to somebody paid somebody for him to pardon him, pretty much, right?
I don't know that. That's the part I don't know. I'm just assuming.
It's not like the president. That's too difficult. All that you just said for him to follow. There's no way.
Look, it's Trump. It's Trump's brother. It's sheriff in New York. It's not Westchester County. It's the county right next to it. I'm assuming Rich People County.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, but I don't know. I don't know how pardons work. We're talking about like it's some criminal thing. Isn't that kind of how it works? You do somebody a favor, like here's $10,000 for your reelection campaign, Sheriff Butch.
Yeah.
Allegedly. And then like, oh, by the way, I got arrested. A funny story. Back in 1992/3, I got arrested because I like snakes. That's not a crime. Everybody's got their thing. Mine is snakes. I like snakes. And I was vulnerable. I let myself be vulnerable with someone I shouldn't have been vulnerable with. His name was Rudy Cobra King Comerick, and he got me to send a bunch of snakes to people go see that man and they watch him milk snakes on Easter Sunday in Miami, Florida. He's very famous. He's been bitten so many times. Like he doesn't even feel it anymore. He's like, it feels good. You know him, he's a snake scientist. I sent my snakes down to the snake scientist. I didn't know you couldn't do that. I didn't know that the Cobra King had stolen them out of they were about to fuck and have snake babies. And he reaches in there with his Cobra King hands and come here, you ain't getting none tonight, son. Get in that bag. You're going to Florida as soon as I get my friend. Hey, you got any stamps? Would you mind doing me a huge favor? And that's what happened. And then Donald Trump's brother said, all you had to do was say snakes. I mean, I want him to have to do this. I said, Butch, Sheriff Butch, let's go talk to my brother. I want him to have to go do it. I don't know that they really got along. I know that when he died, they said that they got along, but there was something about an Atlantic City casino that failed and that Donald Trump blamed on his brother, who I don't think they ever worked for the Trumps again. I don't know 100% if that's That's true. Some of the way they talk about, I know we're supposed to get to the sponsors. I just wanted to say that in some of these Robert Trump obituaries, because you always are flowery. You talk about, oh, he did this, he did that. But some of this stuff is just crazy. Like some of this stuff, like you be at your daddy's funeral and people be talking like this. You go like, you'd stand up and say, calm down. This is too much. Everybody here knows my daddy. And they know you're talking some bullshit right now. Here's Butch Anderson talking about Robert Trump. I'm sorry, just real quick.
That's it.
He is an extremely grateful man. Dutchess County Sheriff Butch Anderson said Friday of Robert Trump, who he described as a personal friend for more than 15 to 20 years. Do cops just talk like that? Do they talk like in sentencing terms? Like, how long you known Robert Trump? 15 to 20? Like if they know the year, do they still give with some time off for good behavior? He gave to a lot of organizations and orphanages, especially for animals. Like an animal orphanage? The Robert Trump Memorial Animal Orphanage. He gave a lot to children's functions. What is that? What's a children's function? He was always willing to help the children, and that's where we became friends. If you're friends with a Trump, don't say that help the children and like you became friends at a children's function to help the children. That's going to come back to bite you, Butch. It's going to come back to bite you. Anyway, Dutchess County Sheriff named among leaders of Trump's reelection campaign is the next article. He's on there with a bunch of like Long Island motherfuckers.
All right. Watch the language.
So I probably should have thrown that in, just the way they talk about. There's more people just really love Robert Trump in Westchester County. Now, what if he was a nice Trump? Robert gets along with almost everyone. Oh, this is Trump talking about his brother. Robert gets along with almost everyone, which is great for me, since sometimes I have to be the bad guy. Sometimes. Starting in the early 80s, you were the bad guy, and it just snowballed from there. All right. I could talk about, Robert Trump was a supporter of the Lucky Orphans Horse Rescue. Okay. Maybe Butch just got it all kind of mixed up. Orphans, horses. He was trying to piece it together. He couldn't remember. Orphanages, children, horse, animals. All of it. A kind and humble man who did not seek the spotlight. He may not have even been on Twitter, for all I know. His widow, their restaurant, Monty's Local Kitchen and Tap Room in Amenia, New York, did host a Trump rally in April of this year in Poughkeepsie. Oh, she catered the Trump rally in Poughkeepsie. But I do think she put together a boat rally.
And a rally, not a parade.
A boat. What's the difference?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I'm sorry. I was just looking, and then I forgot I had all this stuff about when Robert Trump died. I'm not making fun of anybody for dying. I mean, like, if he did die of COVID, it's because of his brother, and a lot of people died because of his brother, and he should probably be in jail for that, and a bunch of other stuff, and he'll never see a day in a cell. No. And he was the president, and people fucking crashed into the Capitol building with and beat up and killed people and used flagpoles as stabbers to fucking keep him as president.
All right. You right about that. Watch the language.
I'd rather have the fucking Cobra King. At least he could do something. At least he knew how to get a snake. I mean, the stuff with women. It also sounds like he was in bars, like trying to pick up young women. It's not good. I mean, he's not a good person, but I mean, even with all that, still better than Trump. he had an enemy with the other snake doctor. I mean, that would have been funny. Just him tweeting. Said like Trump tweeting. You never know with the Cobra King. You just be tweeting snake scientist Brown. Hey, I caught a bunch of snakes. You didn't see at all how many I had in that sack. Fuck you.
All right.
All right, I got that's it. I could. I
want to apologize to our sponsors. Look, I ain't got all day to sit on here and talk like this, and I sure as hell know people don't have all day to listen to it. So I want to apologize to our sponsor now. I'm gonna save my sponsor for next week, and you explain to him. Maybe give him that $25 back when he can get on here and listen to his snake story.
Oh, I also went back to Reptiles Magazine. They had some great articles on this. Reptiles Magazine. Maybe I'll put up some links to these. That's what you're supposed to do is if you have a real podcast, you put up links in the show notes.
All right, then.
So we're not doing sponsors?
I'm saving mine for next week. I ain't got the amount of time to give him that I think that I owe him. But, yeah, I'm doing it next week.
Now Guy Lancaster's wife will be like, don't let me down, Jackie, with that sponsor. It better be a good one.
I'll do the best I can to get $25, do all I can. But I'm glad he cleared all this up with Guy Lancaster and his lovely wife.
I'm not a great researcher. I know we've got people who listen to us who are great researchers and know how to comb through. If anybody finds anything about Robert Bowker, please let us know. I feel like there's a missing piece here. And if we had it, it would all just click into place. Although I think we probably got it figured out pretty good. But it'd be nice to just kind of nail some of those assumptions to the floor here.
And I also want to reach out to Guy Lancaster's wife. We're more than happy to say your name on here, but won't do it unless we get the proper permission. So, but enjoy the snake story. I did. I didn't know half of that. That's all new. And like I said, snake scientist, somebody need to jump on that. That's something that can go somewhere.